Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Mass. Here we had a slow F&M, so I actually hopped in, get rid of the bye, and I am playing against Nick on lands. Cephalid Breakfast is something I've been working on. I really enjoy it. If you haven't seen it before, you will be in for a treat, as this is a wacky legacy combo deck, which is not the easiest thing to play against. If I remember correctly, there were some decisions that definitely benefited from Nick not knowing what the heck this list was, and a turn 1 exploration off of Grove of the Burn Willows, finding a wasteland, flooded strand, finding a basic island, into an Aether Vial, and it looks like this could be a win on the following turn. Let's see here what goes on with the situation. Is there no other land in my hand? What a lunatic. Gamble. And Blast Zone coming down, the card he gambled for. So that's going to be an answer to Aether Vial. Not the most threatening start here. And Aether Vial could be cleared out with no collateral damage. That is not the case here. Polluted Delta. And I am considering switching over to Prismatic Vistas. Basic lands proving to be very important versus these wasteland decks. Really not that much of an inconvenience. Blast Zone getting popped. Stoneforge Mystic grabbing a Batter Skull. And that does pose a legitimate threat. Punishing Fire taking out this Stoneforge. Basic Plains joins this island. And now a Tundra as well. And we got a Cephalid Illusionist. And it looks like there's a Nomad and Core in hand, so Nick is about to learn what this deck is all about. Combo assembled. Punishing Fire awkwardly in the graveyard, as it was not foolishly used to stop the Stoneforge Mystic from getting a Batter Skull into play. Batter Skull also would have proven to be a huge problem, and that is usually the correct play, but as it turns out, this is actually a combo deck grafted onto the Stoneforge package. A couple of Narcomoebas coming in, milling through the entire deck, and we are going to shortly see a Cabal Therapy and a Dread Return. Actually, just going to be the Dread Return, getting back Thassa's Oracle, and that is a wrap. So game number 1, out of nowhere, Nick very close to turning the corner there. He handled the Aether Vial. He had the Punishing Fire. If he could have just kept that Punishing Fire mana open, could have been a little bit of a problem. Let's see. It's still tough, though, because the Nomad actually mills at instant speed. So even if he has multiple Punishing Fires, I still get 3 Narcomoebas. I mean, he's got to have access to 3 Punishing Fires. That's like 9 mana. That is... I mean, that's not going to happen. Let's be fair. This is a deck that can win on turn 2. Very unlikely to be at a situation where he can recur Punishing Fire 3 times. So, yeah, Punishing Fire would have needed to have been used in response to the second creature entering or being cast. If they're both on the battlefield, that's a wrap. Aether Vial, very tricky for that. Grand Abolisher is a card that can come down and completely eliminate all of the interaction. So it's a nice surprise when they activate a Violet 2 and put that in. It's like, oh, definitely won't be doing anything on your turn. Cavern of Souls has a similar effect. And jumping back in post-mulligan, perhaps these opening 7s being assessed. A lot of the time when you get somebody with the combo game 1, the following games, they're very, very vigilant to try and make sure that it doesn't happen. And that often leads into victory using a different path. Often they bring in a ton of graveyard hate, and you're able to just Batterskull them out. So we'll see how Nick's 6 fares against this 7. Mox Diamond. And a turn 1 Aether Vial off of a basic land versus lands. Very solid start. Grove of the Burn Willows. Going to be potentially useful here. Stoneforge Mystic hopping to the top. With that Ponder, a basic island. And now another Aether Vial. And a Punishing Fire to the face. Buying it back with the red from Grove. And the life from Grove. We've got a Stoneforge Mystic. Grabbing Shuko. Oh, and that was during the upkeep to shuffle away some dead cards there. Punishing Fire. Taking out the Stoneforge. Untap, Vial ticking up. Another Punishing Fire. Passing back here. And an end step Crop Rotation. That gets a Force of Will. Ooh, and a Pyroblast. So Dark Depths enters the battlefield. It's going to have 10 counters on it. Nick's not going to be able to make a 20/20 during the end step, so there's going to be another turn to live. 2 Aether Vials at 2 means Narcomoeba's a consideration here. Every Narcomoeba's basically a time walk versus this deck. If I can defend it from Punishing Fire, which is actually a pretty big if. Nomad and Core. Shuko. And here comes the 2020. Mox Diamond. Bins a land. 20, will there be a Narcomoeba? Punishing Fire targeting the Nomad. The Narcomoeba actually buys a turn here. Oh, there's no Narcomoeba. So interesting. Going to game 3. Playing like you have it. Does actually make it more difficult for people to read when you do or do not have it if you just always play like you have it. So there, Narcomoeba could have possibly bought an extra turn. Shuko was on board, so I mean, any draw to a Cephalid Illusionist was actually lethal. And here it looks like it could be an okay hand here. Was that a Cephalid Illusionist there? No? Alright. Not going to be good enough. Force of Will, totally reasonable card in this matchup. A lot of explosive starts from lands that you're happy to stop. And of course, protecting your combo may actually come up. Punishing Fire can break up things. And it looks like a turn 1 Aether Vial again. Aether Vial really frees up the mana, makes everything uncounterable, instant speed, a Wasteland. Ooh, and Brainstorm Fetch Land. Best combo in the game. Thespian Stage, no colored mana yet for Nick. And during the end step, we've got a Brainstorm, and now fetching out a basic Plains, and vialing in the Nomad Encore. Very aggressive play here. Might need to defend this against a Punishing Fire or some type of removal. Ponder, digging. Very interesting. That may be a misplay because you can potentially just cast it off of the white mana. But no, just opening up the potential for Punishing Fire to matter. Another Ponder. This one finds a Stoneforge Mystic, which could just pivot to the Batterskull plan here. Though with Dark Depths, a very live draw, that we'll see if that ends up being wise. End step. Thespian Stage is an island with a Thespian Stage ability on it. Stoneforge Mystic entering the battlefield. Grabbing Batterskull. And it looks like we may not see a Cephalid kill here. May just end up being a Batterskull situation. Brainstorm. Ah, there he is. Definitely more interesting than just beating down for 4 a turn with a germ. So Cephalid Illusionist, getting rid of those 3. Narcomoeba triggers, resolves, and again. And with those resolving, it may mean that he wouldn't have multiple surgicals. We'll see. Dread Return goes into the bin. Another Narcomoeba. So, decent little board here. 6 damage on board, Batterskull in hand. Continuing to dig. There's the Cabal Therapy. Cabal Therapy being cast by sacrificing a Narcomoeba. And it's really Surgical Extraction and Fairy Macabre are the concerns. Surgical is actually fired off in response. We got a Force of Will and a second Surgical, and Nick's hand does make a little bit more sense now. That Dread Return taken. Now he has a Tundra as well. Grove of the Burn Willows. And it may be time to start trying to mop this up with Punishing Fire. Oh, and the Cabal Therapy was responded to, and then he actually didn't show his hand. Probably wouldn't have named Surgical after, but that is missed. Life from the Loam. Wasteland Recursion. Getting started here. Batterskull. Gonna get above 20 life, which is very much very relevant, I should say, versus a deck that is primarily just trying to do 20 damage to you. Punishing Fire can chip in for a little bit extra, but making Merit Lage swing multiple times with Narcomoeba blockers, this starts to get a little muddy. Nick dead on the next turn. Milling. Oh, and now Thassa's Oracle, so that actually does it. So Thassa's Oracle in hand, able to just show up and end the game in a very interesting match in between lands and Cephalid Breakfast. I think this deck is better than it looks, guys. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.